Good morning. Can you say good morning?
Ja,
Zeg maar good morning.
kom mee.
Goed zo. So, I promised a while back to do a how I prepare for childbirth video, but pretty much everything that could go wrong with that video went wrong. So I had the footage, etc, etc. I'm not gonna go into it. I just decided I'm going to film it again in a bit of a vlog style. So the cool thing I think is that it will not just include then the things that I did with Noel's pregnancy to prepare for birth, but everything I learned from that I'm taking along in this one. So one of the super important things to do is to make sure that you are physically ready. Yeah. So progesterone is making you all bendy. Make good use of that and make room in your pelvis so that baby can engage properly, because proper engagement means that your labor will progress so much better. I love to do the exercises from Spinning Babies. I've discovered if I don't do it first thing in the morning, then it doesn't happen at all, because I already have a toddler and because of insane heartburn. So I have to do it before I've eaten anything. So we're starting with that, and I'll probably insert some old footage so that it's with his pregnancy, but then you can kind of see what that's like, and I'll link in Spinning Babies down below. I find these exercises from Spinning Babies absolutely essential for giving birth, because it helps you create space for your baby, as I said, to descend and engage properly, which will make labor faster, and it will allow your baby to turn properly and get into the right position. But also because we sit so much that our pelvic muscles tend to be super tight, and it is difficult for us to make that space despite getting a good shot of progesterone in our pregnancy. So we need to do some work to really loosen up and release our birthing muscles. But not only that, we also need to strengthen our birthing muscles. Of course, it is pretty intense to get that baby out, and while it is ideal when you want to give birth naturally, you're going to want to especially not give birth on your back, because it's quite intense. And you want to make use of gravity, but that means you're going to have to be squatting or lunging. So how good are you at squatting and lunging right now? You're going to want to exercise those muscles. It's also really helped me with pelvic pain during my pregnancy. I barely have any right now. Well, it was a lot worse in my second trimester. Right now I'm trying to make sure at 34 weeks that I am doing them every day.
Mama kijken.
Mama kijken?
Mama kijken. Mama kijken.
No, kijken.
Mama kijken.
Time for breakfast. Yes? And that includes the tissue salt program that we start off with. You may have already seen this on my website. I've got a free cheat sheet that you can download, and I've got an article on my website that explains all about the pregnancy tissue salt program. So I'll make sure to link that in below. But at 34 weeks, the combination that I'm taking is Ingefleur, silica, and Natmure. So we're taking that one. But these are really good for him as well. So I am giving him Ingefleur as well for his bones, and he loves them. For his bones and your teeth, huh? Yep. And then silica, why not? Let's give you that one as well. It's also good for his teeth. And then I'm giving him some Mac Foss because he's having growing pains. This is also part of the tissue salt program, just not the stage I am right now. Cali floss, I take extra for fatigue. And nut mirror. So the gist of it anyway is that the tissue salts help you take up the nutrients from your diet so that they can actually go into your cells. And then of course we've got our supplements. I've got a prenatal, and then I've got vitamin D, and then I also have my fatty acids. I actually take cod liver oil. Whether you think that's a good idea in pregnancy or not is something you should research, but I follow the Nourishing traditions type of diet, and that's part of that. I'm not going to go into the food too much because I think everybody has different opinions, and as I said, I follow the Nourishing tradition stuff, so if you're interested you can follow that. With the one exception I want to mention, that's bone broth, because that contains so many minerals, and obviously you're being depleted all the time when you are having a growing baby inside, and then after that, if you're nursing, that continues. And I've been nursing him for 2 years. I'm still nursing him, so I'm still trying to build up probably from his pregnancy. So bone broth is something that I really try to incorporate daily, and it's something that I'll also be asking hubby to warm up for me during labor to strengthen me. So I've got quite a few things more to talk to you about, and this is one of them. This is my ball. It's not really a birthing ball because I had it for ages before I was even pregnant with Noel, but if you want to call it a birthing ball, that's fine. I think it's really fantastic. I have to admit I didn't use it in labor last time because I just didn't think of it and nobody reminded me. So it's one of the things I wrote down for my birth plan, like, remind me to get on my birth ball. Either just, you know, sitting and bouncing or just hanging over it. I do get some rib pain, and it's kind of nice to just hang on the ball right now and stretch that out. But this one's just also really important because it helps you to tilt your pelvis properly, that you're sitting on your sits bones rather than, you know, slumping to the back, which isn't good for space in your belly. And it's also not good for the baby's position. You want it to be like a little hammock that baby can then hang out in. And this just really helps with movement in general, so that you don't tighten up too much. So I say that getting a ball like this early on is definitely worth it, not just for your labor. And let's see, because I pulled up the list that I had made last time when I filmed that video. Let's see what other things I have on here that I haven't mentioned yet, and if I would do them now or not. So I thought I'd go through my overview that I had with Noel's pregnancy. I don't have a pretty overview like this right now. I mean, when you have a toddler, it's just impossible to do this. And I really did this as a relaxing thing with his pregnancy as well. I'm 34 weeks right now, so it would be different because week 36 is kind of vital with a couple of preparation things. But one of the things that I did were the tissue salts then as well, and I'm doing that now too. This says pregnancy probiotics, and I will pick that up soon as well. There are different strains, you know, and there are some strains that are also found in breast milk, and those are really good to take at the end of your pregnancy and even after if you're nursing, because baby picks up on that. Then of course the pregnancy multi, I mentioned the fatty acids, the daily essentials routine from Spinning Babies we talked about. This says walk 2 kilometers. I don't think I manage that right now, except for maybe in the home, but that is really good because that gives you the chance to relax your psoas, and that is a special muscle that goes from, let's say, your like halfway your back, a little bit higher, all the way to the front towards your hips. So you need that one to be relaxed. This is a perineum massage. So with oil, I will start that later on as well. It really helps with tearing because you can make the tissue a lot softer. Although I'm not sure how important this is if you have like second, third, fourth, whatever baby. I think it's more important with your first. The Primrose oil capsule, I will start that one as well. I do think that is a great one because it helps to prepare the cervix. It helps it to soften and thin. So it's important though that you start taking that later on in pregnancy. So I was starting that at week 36 and I think that is appropriate. This is raspberry leaf tea. I think that one is still fantastic in pregnancy and also as a preparation for birth, for the toning of your uterus. But I have to admit, I haven't been drinking it, and that has mostly to do with my stomach acid issues. I'm just not as motivated to eat or drink things that are really good for me when they make me feel worse. This is quiet time, which is actually a devotional time. That one's really important for me, that I mentally prepare for my birth as well and spiritually prepare. I have to say that this was probably one of the most important things I did last time, because I did have a difficult birth and it did end up in hospital, and praise God, it was still natural birth. No epidural, no vacuum, no cesarean. But what really helped me push out the baby in the end was suddenly that verse that came to mind: I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And with every contraction, that's what I was thinking and repeating in my head. And I was able to push several times within one contraction and even hold the baby in between. So that was pretty mighty. This is a diet thing that I did at the time, sugar-free, wheat-free. Afternoon sleep, I think, is super, super important, especially now with my toddler, who is still not a great sleeper, as you may know if you've been following my channel. Like last night, it wasn't too bad, but the night before he was crying every hour, so that's really rough on me, especially with this pregnancy. So I sleep every afternoon with him, and thank God he sleeps usually 2.5 to 3.5 hours, so I am able to get at least a 2-hour stretch usually, but I really do need it. These are the remedies that I'm taking. Don't take these. Get the homeopathic remedies that your homeopath would prescribe, but these were the ones that I was taking, and I'm taking a different set right now. But that too is super important for hormone balancing and yeah, preparing me for birth. And then there's, of course, the homeopathic remedies for in childbirth. I have written a childbirth guide that I had for my patients, and I decided to make it available to all of you so you can purchase it from my shop. And I have updated it since having Noel, because I thought, oh, I can add this remedy in. Oh, I can add that in. This is valuable. This is relevant. And one of the things that I added in that I think is super helpful are remedies that help me jumpstart labor with Noel. Now, with homeopathic remedies, you're not going to start labor if your body or your baby aren't ready. But if they are, your body and your baby, then it will be like a key that's unlocking a lock and start labor. And that was quite important for Noel and me, because I was kind of heading towards preeclampsia, and I was like not happy about this. So I started the remedies on a Friday evening, and Saturday morning contractions started. So that was a really cool experience for me, because I've prescribed it to patients before, but now I got to experience it myself. So I've put that natural induction protocol in that childbirth guide as well. So if you want your hands on that, then head on over to my shop. Yes, the birthing pool. We haven't spoken about that one yet. Last time I did have a birthing pool, and I used it during contractions, and it was really, really lovely. I really liked it. My midwife pulled me out of the pool at some point when I was already pushing, probably because she thought that things weren't progressing, and we did talk about this again recently, because I think that that was not right. I think that is I think that's the moment that everything kind of went downhill for me, and I start to tighten up and get out of my relaxation bubble. I thought things were progressing really well, and she didn't actually say that she thought it wasn't progressing fast enough. But to me, it was like the quiet before the storm. I really feel like my body was just like calming down, relaxing to build up to let's go do this. So one thing led to another, to another, to another, to another, to another. And that's why I ended up in hospital at the time. So this time I'm definitely going to do it differently. It's cool, I have the same midwife. I really love her, I really respect her. So I'm definitely not saying that she did things wrong last time. Obviously, she's also looking from a very different perspective at the birth. She's looking at it from her professional experience and any risks of complications that might be playing a role. But we really talked it through and said, okay, we need to communicate better this time. I need to communicate more. I need to say what I feel. I wasn't doing that because I thought, well, you know, this is all normal. Just put up with it. This is childbirth. It's hard. And I would do that differently now. One of the things that went through my mind a lot was that I felt like the baby was stuck behind my pubic bone. And he wasn't, because I was able to just give birth properly, normally, vaginally. But probably if I had said something about it, she might have suggested something like the ball or walking around or, you know, something. So I should have communicated that better, but I didn't know any better. And she promised me that she would share more what's on her mind. Like, I'm concerned about this, I'm concerned about that. And I'll be a lot more adamant about what I think I need. But it's so much easier, I think, with a second birth than with the first, because with the first you have no idea. You have no idea what it will feel like, what the pushing feels like, what you're supposed to feel, what you're not supposed to feel. Some of the pain that I experienced had to do with the positions that I was in and had nothing to do with me birthing the baby. And at the time I thought it was, well, this is normal, but the pain was actually preventing me from relaxing. So had I known that, but I know that now. So maybe that is something that I can also really pass on to you first time moms. Communicate. If this is not something that is, you know, that comes naturally to you, if you are more private, if you're the type of person that cries alone and keeps things to themselves until they've solved it, then this is something I can really say. Make sure that you communicate with your partner, communicate with your midwife or whoever is with you. Just tell them what you feel is really fine and important, because it's the only way for them to help you and make suggestions. So this birthing pool, we've ordered it again. Definitely gonna be in our bedroom. I think it will be fantastic. But as I said, I really hope that this will be a water baby, because this is a fantastic way to manage any pain that you may have, because it helps relax, first of all. It gives you some weightlessness. It allows you to get into different types of positions without it being too uncomfortable. And not only that, it allows everything to stretch much better down there. So I talked a bit about my quiet time, my devotional time, how important that was. What I did as well is in that period, there were a couple of Bible verses that came to me that felt like, oh, these would be good to be reminded of during the birth. And obviously, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me was the one that really stuck out, and that stayed with me till the end. But there were more, and I printed those out. I made them a little bit pretty and I stuck them up on the wall. And my husband and I will be doing that this time together. We'll be picking some verses together, and I think that will be really nice to have around me again. If you don't have a Christian faith, I'm sure there are some other things that you would find really encouraging to be reminded of. Maybe things like, my body was made to do this and I can't wait to meet my baby. Then I also had a Spotify playlist. I will share the link down below if you like that. I don't know if I'm going to use the same one. I might make a new one for this baby. I did start a new one, honestly, but there's only one in there, so I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. Then what I found super useful, and I've actually passed it on to some other ladies after me that gave birth and said that it was a huge relief. That's the TENS machine. So you can press the button, and then when you have a contraction, it will send out some signals, and it kind of, I guess it counteracts the energy maybe from the contractions, which allows you to not tense up. Hey, that's funny, I just realized that. But for your muscles to relax. So this was really helpful as well. Obviously you can't use it in a bath, but outside, yes. So is there anything else that I did last time? Oh, books. Yes, books. There are a couple of books that I think are really incredible to read in your pregnancy, and two are by Ina May Gaskin. She is a well-known midwife who promotes and has promoted natural childbirth. Again, I will link it in down below as well, the titles. The second one is the Spiritual Midwifery, but that one contains loads and loads and loads of stories of natural childbirth. And I did find them very inspiring, but they might not be your cup. I'm quite capable of reading those things and then picking from it what I like, and then the things that aren't really me, just to leave them. But I can understand that it might put some people off because, I don't know, it's a bit maybe hippie or something, I don't know. They talk about psychedelic and being telepathic with each other and that kind of stuff. But I think if you can read that book in the context of the time that it was written and the community that it was written, then you can probably translate it to some words that do fit with you, or you think is absolutely amazing and incredible, and then just absorb it. The point is, I don't really know any other books that are filled with so many stories that are so positive about natural childbirth, and that it doesn't have to be a painful thing, and that it doesn't have to be scary and a constant worry about complications. It brings natural childbirth back to where it's supposed to be, I think, something that is natural and that we're made to do, that our bodies are made to do. Well, I guess that's it. It's quite a lot. Don't take everything on board. You really don't have to do that. Pick a few things that you like or that you hadn't thought of yet. Don't make it a big deal. The thing that I did last time with Noel, putting it in a bullet journal, was just because it was fun. I didn't do it to make myself, oh, you need to do this. I think the one thing you need to make yourself do in that third trimester, in your maternity leave, leading up to childbirth, is anything that will help you focus on that baby's gonna come and on relaxing. And relaxing isn't easy, I think. Not in this time anyway, unless you, and that's what I think these tools are quite helpful for, to help you relax and get more into your body, I suppose. Or it's helping me, and I'm definitely somebody that tends to live up there. So it is a bit of a challenge. But I do feel like I'm more in the belly, more in the area, more aware of this is what we're going to be doing, and you know how to do it. So is there anything that I haven't mentioned that you are doing or that you have done in the past that you thought was valuable? Please comment below, because I'd love to know. I still have a couple of weeks to go, and there are so many other women watching this that would find it helpful. I am 100% sure. So go ahead and share. And in the meantime, see you in the next video. Bye.